Let's look at moving, resizing and rotating layer content in Affinity Publisher. Okay, so first we need the Move tool selected, and we can choose that from the Tools panel on the left here. Now let's select a layer, so we'll select this text by clicking on it, and to move layer content we can just click drag within the selection bounding box of the layer, like so. And when we're happy and we want to commit the move, we just release the mouse button. Now also, if we hold down Shift whilst moving, we can constrain the layer to horizontal and vertical axes. And it will also constrain it to 45-degree increments as well. Now let's move on to resizing. So we can resize layer content by hovering over one of the corner nodes until we get the resize icon. Then we just click drag to resize. Now we can use a couple of keyboard modifiers here. So by default, this content constrains its aspect ratio, and we can toggle this behavior by holding down Shift on the keyboard. When we want to move back to the default aspect ratio behavior, we simply release the Shift key. And also we can resize around the center point instead by holding down Command on Mac or Control on Windows. And we can combine these as well, so we can hold down Command and Shift at the same time. And then I can release Shift and then Command. Then we can rotate layer content. And to do that, we can either click drag on the rotation handle node here, or if we hover over one of the corners, we can get a rotation icon and click drag to rotate, using those as well. And again, we can hold down Shift and this will constrain the rotation to 15-degree increments. Then we can shear layer content, and to do that, we can hover over the top, bottom, left or right nodes until we get the shear icon here, like so. So rather than manipulating on the canvas or the page, we can also use the transform panel down here. For example, we have X and Y positioning, the width and height, and the rotation and the shear value. So I can actually reset shear to 0 just by clicking into the shear box, typing 0 and hitting return. And we can use this for exact positioning. So for example, if I select the picture frame here, notice that my X and Y positioning is 0.5 centimeters. I could simply change X to 0 to shift the picture frame. And finally then, we also have the offset here. So if I select the text again, notice the offset is set to the top left. So if I rotate or shear, it uses the top left as its anchor point. Okay? But instead I could move this to the center, and now if I rotate or shear, it uses the center point as the anchor instead. So there we go, just a quick look at moving, resizing and rotating layer content.